Hi, I'm Richie Bravo and welcome back. Today's discussion is silver better than paper money. Well, a lesson that I learned individually about silver and money was during an economical collapse. Economical collapses happen in many different ways. Although most people fantasize about an apocalyptic doom, an economical collapse where the entire world is suffering or everyone in their country is suffering, those are rare and far few and in between. Most economical collapses happen like a stone being thrown in a pond, a ripple. That ripple carries out and takes a few fish with it and drowns them. We ourselves have had a few economical collapses. But what I learned in an actual economical collapse where a large amount of people were affected, back then the currency being put out, which this happens very often, currencies being put out which are printed by a government such as this and this are often recalled when an economical collapse happens, making that currency no longer valuable, no longer useful when going into a store and making purchases and stuff, such as what we see going on in a certain country that we all see on the news, which their currency is like so devaluated. During two different economical collapses that I went through as a child, my father collected something very similar to this. They were coins in our country that had slightly less of a value than a quarter did. They had a very high silver content. My father would take this and trade it in for this. Oh, of course, me seeing all the coins you had, I thought, well, yeah, you're rich. Then one day, when the collapse happened, they recalled this, and all the currency, because governments recall and have the right to recall coins and paper money that they mint. Now, as stores started to close and things started to worsen, there started to emerge markets. And by markets, I mean food markets, places where people went to purchase, trade, or acquire the goods they needed to get by. My father was taking a lot of these, okay, that in the time when he got them had the equivalency of what it is, this, but when it collapsed, these, because of their silver content, he was trading them in with a man, an old man by the way, who was purchasing them for the new currency that was being put out for the equivalent of this. So think about that. We would go on what we would call the coin hall. We'd go in, we'd trade these with an old man who would give us the new currency, which is equivalent value pretty much even today, similar to the $5 bill. We take that and go buy our groceries. Now I hear many people say you can't eat this during an economical collapse. I will keep my food over everything. Now my question is I hear many people saying they're preparing for an economical collapse. They're storing food, they're doing this, they're doing that. Yeah, but the type of economical collapse they're preparing for to me seems a bit extreme. Because what if such an economical collapse lasts 10 years, 15 years? Logically speaking, most of us are not sitting on 15, 20 years, 7 years, 8 years worth of food storage. But what do you do when that food storage runs out? Exhibit A, I purchased this for $4. Okay, it's now, I can take it in and sell it. Most stackers recognize this. So, A-mark, stack bar. Well, I purchased that for $4. As a very young child from the lesson I learned from my father. Now, I can take this in and trade it for 15. So let's say I bought 40 bucks of these back then. That would be about 10 of these. Well, right now they're worth 15. So 10 of these times 10, I made $100. I can't put my money in a bank nowhere and get that kind of dividend or that kind of return, as you might say. Excuse my language. The other thing is if you're preparing for such extremities, such extreme cases, then this would be the way to go. Because let's face it, not all of us are rich. Not all of us are running around with an exuberant amount of cash just to throw around in bunkers and never-ending food piles and, all the ammo in the world. But this is a good step up, because most economical collapses happen like the one in 2008, a ripple, as I stated in the beginning of this video. A rock in the pond that carried out waves and drowned some fish. Many people were caught off guard. Others didn't even feel it. Because in most economical collapses, and they can happen several times in a country, they like to call them recessions. But the thing is, this is technically, it's an economical collapse. The ripple carries out, drowns a couple of fishes, the pond springs back to normal, and everyone else swims on like nothing happened. The thing is even in those types of a situation, many of you can probably reflect back to certain products which they have us purchasing by brand name. We're used to going in and purchasing those products by brand name, and such as you might open up the bag and notice it's just half full. That's how they spring back. They have you purchasing products that you're familiar with your whole life. They give you less. For instance, canned goods. During the first so-called Y2K, so many people were storing canned goods. Recently, I went over and helped a couple who had buried canned goods in the ground, thought they were going to be good, still. I helped them dig them up. I happened to notice the amount in the can. And if you go to your store now and look at the amount of corn, peas, vegetables that they're giving you in the can, trust me folks, it's way less than it was back then. Some countries like to take this and add a zero. Other countries like the sheeple to think everything is normal, and they just give you less for this. So this is always going to be better than this. And the next subject, we'll talk about gold. Alright folks, I decided to film a video while I go out on a trek. At the same time, I predetermined to make this video and do it while I was on the trek. My audio didn't come out too great, but hopefully I'll get better as I progress. Technology isn't my thing, and these are my first two videos, so bear with me. Hopefully I'll get better as we go along. Any comments or questions, leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. Thank you.